What up, gang? It's Carolina Jackpot time coming at you. It's February 20th. We're inching a little bit closer to football season. Starting to feel football in the air. The FCS teams are finishing up their 2020 schedule in the spring, and they kind of started that this weekend. They're doing the conference games. My adopted FCS team for this season, since we don't have any FBS teams playing right now, is going to be the Furman Paladins, my hometown team here in Greenville, South Carolina. I've always been a fan from afar, if you will. I don't just sit there and tell me, oh, Jackpot, you just put them for them because they're doing good. That's not it. But they are doing good. They kicked ass today, by the way, and took names. CBS has released in the past week a letter grade for all of the FBS head coaching changes that took place this year. And I want to talk about that list a little bit, and then I'm going to get to the point of the video, which is I don't like the fact that CBS decided to take a big old dump on South Carolina's hire of Shane Beamer. Just looking at this list, there's like 15 guys on it. You remember what they were saying, back in September, October? Well, he's probably safe to lose that game this year because, this is a COVID year. It really doesn't matter if he beats his rival this year. It's a COVID year. Well, there's not been a lot of attendance this year. It's a COVID year. Guess what? Every year is going to be a COVID year from here on out, because of the ripple-down effect of the economic and personal vendetta that this nasty-ass virus, whether you think it's made up, whether you think it's not, whether you think it's political, whether it don't matter what you think it is, it's had an effect, and it is going to last for a while. So please stop calling this a fucking COVID year. They're all damn COVID years. Anyway, now that I'm done with that little diatribe, there were a lot of changes that people didn't really see it coming. And everybody had to get a new coach, right? And they graded all those hires. Let's take a look at some of these. And some of these are just an absolute joke. They really are an absolute joke. First off, nobody got a failing grade, okay? And the reason for my salty tone here in this video is Shane Beamer, South Carolina's new coach, got the lowest grade of anybody. Shane got a C minus. C minus, that was the lowest, okay? Which nobody got a D, nobody got a D minus, there was no Fs, none of that, okay? Nobody hired Will Muschamp, okay? At least not to be a head coach. Everybody's grade was C minus and above. But I just want to take a look at some of these clowns who got higher grades than Shane Beamer and want to unload on it, and let's try to figure out why. All right, well, Boise State hires Andy Avalos as the head coach. Andy Avalos has been a coordinator, I think, most recently at Oregon. He's a Boise State alum. He gets a B+. Okay, and it says the reason why Boise State has all the pieces in place to succeed. Okay. Doesn't say anything about Andy's coaching acumen. It just says that Boise State's got some nice facilities. They have a winning tradition, and they usually recruit very well for, what they are, which is a niche school, kind of. So Andy Avalos gets a B+. All right, solid. Maybe I can buy it. Okay. Moving on down the list here, we have Southern Miss hires something called Bill Hall. No kin to Carolina Jackpots. My last name's Hall. If you know him well enough, he gets a B. Okay, that's good. Is there not a more generic name than Bill Hall? Bill Hall was the offensive coordinator at Tulane. Whoop-de-doo. He gets a B. Let's see here. Arkansas State. They give Butch Jones' hire a B. A fucking B. Is this not the guy who got ran out of Knoxville on a damn rail a few years ago for not winning one damn game in conference? He didn't even beat Vanderbilt. Couldn't even beat Vanderbilt. Had a losing record to Vanderbilt, if I'm not mistaken. And he had all kind of upheaval going on in his locker room. He had players wanting to quit. He had like a damn players wanting to revolt. Somebody, I don't know who it was, that came out with some book a couple of years ago, and they detailed, just this program and just all the shit he had going on there, and how awful it was. And yet he goes to Alabama and spends 2 or 3 years there as an offensive analyst under Nick Saban. I don't think he ever, well, maybe he was on the field for 1 year, I guess, or whatever. But he is a B hire. He's a B hire. Arkansas State, what are you doing? Well, let somebody else give that clown a chance. He's going to come up there and screw up a good thing. You got a decent little program up there at Arkansas State, and now you're going to bring in Lyle Jones to destroy it. B hire? I don't think so. Vanderbilt. And I know a lot of these aren't huge splash hires. I know a lot of the bigger programs, nobody really changed. There was a couple of big name programs that changed coaches, but there's not. So I know a lot of you don't want to hear about Arkansas State. You're like, I don't want to hear about that. I don't want to hear about the ones you talk about, Carolina Jackpot. I don't want to hear about it. Well, trust me, it gets better. We're getting better. Vanderbilt goes and hires Clark Lee, who is the defensive coordinator at Notre Dame. Clark Lee played at Vanderbilt. I played fullback for him. So how he becomes a defensive coordinator, I'm not quite sure how that works out. But anyway, he was defensive coordinator. Vanderbilt is a unique situation. The academic standards are really high. It's harder for them to win than it is for other teams to win. So right now in the SEC and just all across college football in general, if you kind of look at it, we're moving more towards what? An offensive mindset. Teams are scoring more points now than they ever have before. Teams are lighting the scoreboard up. 500 yards a game is nothing. I mean, it's just the drop of a hat. It happens all the time. What do? They fire their defensive-minded coach and Derek Mason because they want to change philosophy. And lo and behold, they go and hire another Derek Mason, another defensive coordinator. I mean, I don't get it, okay? But that hire was given a B. Okay? I don't know that ranks as a B on my list, but whatever floats your boat, CBS, whatever floats your boat. Stay tuned, it gets better. The hits just keep on coming. Illinois parts ways with the Black Santa Claus, as they call him, Lovie Smith, after a few years of an experiment of hiring a washed-up old NFL coach that didn't go very well for them. It went pretty well at Arizona State with old Herm Edwards. Hadn't went too well at Illinois, so he's no longer with them. They bring in Brett Bielema. That's right, Brett Bielema, who was one time the head coach at Wisconsin. He took the Badgers to several Rose Bowls and, had some success up there, which is a program that's, kind of built for success. The running game, the offensive line, all that stuff. When, Barry Alvarez was the head coach there, he kind of turned that program around from a loser into, a tough, hard-nosed program up there in the Big Ten. And, he's carried forward. So, he did pretty well there. Issue in 2013, he becomes the head coach at Arkansas. This program becomes a train wreck under Bielema. They go 29-34 from 2013 to 2017, after which he is ultimately let go as he is coming off the field for the last game, which they lost to the Mizzou Tigers there in the 2017 season. Recruiting at Arkansas, morale, horrible. set up Chad Morris very well. Chad Morris gone, barely lasted 2 seasons there. Basically, the foundation that Bielema laid kind of got him let go too. I mean, he couldn't turn that thing around in a couple of years. But Arkansas was not. Arkansas is one of those people who say, well, that's the worst program in the SEC West. I mean, it's just not even close. Arkansas was the worst program there. Guys, what? I mean, are we not just forgetting? I mean, it's not even been 10, 12 years ago. Arkansas was winning 10, 11 games a year. McFadden, Jones. I mean, those teams were really good. What damn quarterback's name? His name damn escapes me now. But Arkansas has won at a high level in the past. Brett Bielema destroyed it. But his hire at Illinois is graded as an A-. What? An A-. Says he's going to strengthen up recruiting. Okay, so he's going to strengthen the running game and instill some discipline. Okay, good luck with that one. Somebody who went to a school that, pretty rich in football tradition and failed miserably. But okay, that's an A- hire. UCF brings in Gus Malzahn. That is rated as an A+ hire. That I can get behind. Believe it or not, I've always been a fan of Malzahn. I've been a fan of his offenses. I think he runs a decent program. I just think he's always just been, it seems like, one player short. Always been one player short. Shh. Hey. Hey, damn it. When they've had a really good quarterback and decent receivers, they've kind of lacked a little bit in the running game. When they've had a decent running game, decent running back, it's like this past year. Tank Bigsby comes on the scene. Their quarterback, Bo Nix, has a terrible year. As you've seen, Jared Stidham and that have a good year a few years ago. Couldn't find a decent running back. So he seemed like he's always just been a player or two short from really pushing them over the hump. But they've been good on lines of scrimmage. They've been good defensively there under him. They've put tons of players in the NFL. And I think, honestly, Auburn made a mistake letting this guy go. But, whatever. You made your bed, lie in it. UCF got a steal. I think that they ended up actually making out better. And then we'll talk about the other guy here in just a second. Auburn, they hired Brian Harsin from Boise State. This guy is rated as an A- hire. I'm not. I don't know. I'm not sold on him. First of all, reason why I don't like him is that he thinks he's got to raid South Carolina's fucking coaching cupboard to build his staff. Okay, you're successful at Boise State. Bring in your own damn staff. Bring your own damn staff down here. I mean, why do you have to? He is building a staff of SEC retreads. Now, he tried to bring in defensive line retread Tracy Rocker. Retread Tracy Rocker stayed there about a week after he'd been at South Carolina about a week. And he was there for a year. Sorry, Tracy. Will not go out to you. I apologize for that snafu. He was at South Carolina for a year. Okay, under Will Muschamp, which counts for a week. Anyway, he's building a staff of SEC retreads from South Carolina's coaching staff. But this is an A- hire. It's an A- hire. Now, okay, whatever. We'll see. Seemed like you wanted a pretty damn high level at Boise while you were there. Why not bring your DC from Boise? Why not bring your OC from Boise? I don't know. Makes no sense to me. Texas brings in Steve Sarkisian. They give this one an A. Yeah. I can probably kind of get behind that. Steve Sarkisian's always been a good offensive mind. He's just had personal issues at his previous 2 head coaching stops. He showed up, I think, drunk at practice at Washington and drunk at some kind of function at USC, after which he was going to go to practice drunk, or maybe it was switched up anyway. Yeah, problems getting drunk on the job, okay? He's not like Carolina Jackpot getting drunk on the couch. He was getting drunk while he was getting paid, and that ain't cool. I think that he's pretty much been rehabilitated. Has to be. Surely, Nick Saban wouldn't have kept him on the staff at Alabama in the position that he was in if he had not cleaned up his act. So they're going to give that one an A. We'll see. I don't know that I would grade it an A. I would say that was probably more of a B higher. But it's Texas. They got the name recognition, so they get a little bump up in the letter grade there. And then finally, we have, here's one more gem. Terry Bowden, 64-year-old Terry Bowden, son of Bobby Bowden, gets a B as the head coaching hire now at the University of Louisiana, Monroe. Terry Bowden went 35-52 in his last head coaching stop, which was with the Akron Zips. He did have 3 9-win seasons at Auburn. Remind you, his last season at Auburn was in 1998. So that would have put him being, in his early 40s? God dang, man. I didn't realize he was that young when he was there. I mean, he looked old when he was there, didn't he? People age differently nowadays, I guess they do. And then he went to 3 straight playoffs at Division II North Alabama because he built a team full of transfers. Whoop-de-doo. Okay, but he's a B hire. You know why they're saying that? Because he was rehabilitated too. He spent a year on Dabo Sweeney's staff, some kind of damn analysis over at Clemson. So obviously he got bestowed all that wonderful football knowledge. He just drank it all in from Dabo, and he's great. He's going to be good to go for UL Monroe. Finally, Josh Heupel gets a C as the new head coach at Tennessee. Here's a guy who left his previous job at UCF. Didn't even say bye, kiss my ass, have a nice day to his star quarterback Dylan Gabriel, who wrote about that at length on Twitter. He's a known liar. He and their athletic director there, they yank scholarships from these kids. Well, they don't yank scholarships. They free them from their scholarships because nobody wants to be at that shithole. And then they put some kind of ridiculous clause in that as you can't go to another SEC school. You know what I'd do? I'd say, okay, I'm not going to another SEC school. And I'd turn around, I'd sign with whatever damn SEC school I please to sign with. Exactly what I'd do. Anyway, we get to the point here. This is all just a big mumble-jumble clusterfuck of guys. I mean, some of them more talented than others. But the bottom line with most of them is they've been head coaches before. That's CBS's knock on Shane Beamer. He hadn't been a head coach before. Well, guess what? Or he's not been a coordinator before either. Guess what? He's took 2 teams to the playoffs. I'm telling you, the 2019 Oklahoma Sooners and the 2017 Georgia Bulldogs would not have went to the college football playoffs had Shane Beamer not been on those staffs. Okay? Assistant head coach at Oklahoma, worked with the offense, did a lot of stuff down there at Georgia too as well. I got so much information up here that I can't process it all right now. I'm not sure exactly what he did do at Georgia, but I know he did something. And they would not have made the college football playoff had it not been for Coach Shane Beamer being there and in attendance. And I think that, just based on the last couple of years, the stink that Will Muschamp has left on the program has just soured South Carolina on a lot of people's minds. And they just don't believe in it anymore. They don't believe that anybody here can be a good hire. So, they're inherently just going to give that a crappy grade. And it's not just CBS. It's not that that's my beef. But this is just kind of a general consensus among everybody. The only people that seem to be optimistic about this hire are the South Carolina fans. And here's my thing. If you've been watching the channel for, more than a cup of damn coffee, you'll know that Carolina Jackpot was not thrilled with this hire when it was announced. I wasn't thrilled with it because he'd never been a coordinator before, because he did this and that before. But you know what? I kind of spoke out of turn, and I kind of ran my mouth before I really got educated on that. And sometimes that can be a character flaw of mine. And I'm sorry. It happens in all walks of life. Lots of people do it. Shane Beamer has worked under a lot of head coaches, a lot of successful head coaches. He's coached on a lot of successful teams. 99% of the teams that he were on had winning records. And he did something positive there to influence them. He's picked up, stuff from his dad. Hell, he worked under Phil Fulmer at Tennessee, who was, the best damn coach Tennessee's had probably in the last 50 damn years. Coached under Steve Spurrier at South Carolina, Sylvester Crooms at Mississippi State, nothing to sneeze at. Kirby Smart, I'll talk shit about him, but I'll give him a little bit of credit there. Lincoln Riley, young up-and-coming coach. Lincoln Riley's actually younger than Shane Beamer, which is weird that, he's in his 30s right now and he's teaching Shane in his 40s. It is what it is. Okay? And to me, I'm going to support the guy. I'm going to support him because that's what I choose to do as a fan. Okay? I'm not going to sit here and, dwell in negativity. I don't have room in my carry-on for negativity right now. As Jim Ross, good old JR, one of my favorite wrestling announcers, and runs a great podcast as well. Makes good barbecue sauce too. That's one of his quotes. I don't have room in my carry-on for negativity. And I don't when it comes to this. Because, what is it going to do? I can sit here all day long and talk about why this isn't going to work and why, he's not worth a shit. And what's it going to do? Either one or two things are going to happen. Either number one, I'm going to be right, and the only satisfaction I'll be able to have from that is being able to say, well, I was right. He wasn't worth a shit. I'm the smartest man in the world. Or I could be wrong, and I'm going to look like an idiot. So I'm going to support the guy until he gives me a reason not to support the guy, which is exactly what I did with Will Muschamp. I supported him until he gave me a reason not to support him. And at the beginning of the 2019 season, he gave me a reason not to support him any longer, and I supported him no longer after that point in time. So that's exactly what I'm going to do with Shane Beamer. They talked on here about, and I'm going to link this literary diarrhea down in the comment section below, or down in the description box below, so that you can read it and get dumber by the minute too, kind of like I did. When I read it, but one of their knocks on him was that, that people left. Some of his coaches left. Ladies and gentlemen, none of those guys left for a demotion, okay? None of them left for a demotion. None of them left for pay cuts. You had one who left for an NFL job. You had one who left to take an offensive coordinator job at another SEC school where he was paid, I think, $800,000 more a year. And you had another one who left to go back to his alma mater as a defensive line coach to get paid more a year. There's not a whole hell of a lot that he can do about that, but there is a hell of a lot he can do to fix it and replace them. And that's what he did. Those guys that he hired, I'm really, really impressed with the defensive coordinator hire. I think he's going to do some great things. The offensive coordinator hire, I'm still a little bit shaky on. I don't know. We'll see. But all we can do is hope, okay? All we can do is hope for the best. Sit here and look at it with a glass half full instead of a damn glass half empty. And that's the way that I'm choosing to do things. So, as far as CBS, you can go eat a fat one. Go Gamecocks. Go Coach Shane Beamer. Don't listen to people like this guy right here.
Top 10 team, sir. You got to play Georgia and Athens. You're not beating Alabama.
Because they have no clue what you're talking about. The sky's the limit. There's only one way to go from here, and that's up. I'll see y'all later. Appreciate it. Peace. I'm out. Go Gamecocks. Go Coach Beamer. Spurs up, baby. Woo!